how to navigate the world after having an awakening. Firstly, I just want to quickly understand, or at least help you understand, what it actually means by having an awakening. Because when I initially had an awakening myself, I was like, how do you even identify this? How do I know I've had an awakening? What even is an awakening? What does that even mean? A lot of people talk it and throw the word around loosely. Oh, I had my awakening, but they don't even know what it means, and I don't. I'm just going to give you my example of how to identify that you're more consciously aware, because that's what I think it really means. You've got a deeper level of awareness. You can see the game being played whilst you're still playing the game. You will now have the ability to be the awareness behind the thoughts, the observer behind the mind, the observer behind the player being played in this game. That is what I believe in the simplest way to say you've had an awakening. You understand that there's more to what you can see in this material world. You understand that there is more. You understand that you are connected and at one with everything and everyone. You understand the connectivity of it all, and you understand that oneness is the only thing that can truly exist. And oneness is our true divine nature. So that's how I like to understand, or at least gauge, whether you have had awakening. Can you get behind your thoughts? Can you allow yourself to detach from this human game and get behind the ego? Can you allow yourself to be emotionally unreactive to things and situations that may potentially have thrown you off before? So if you have gone through this process, what you might find is that living life after this process, whether it's just like you've had a big overwhelming experience, or it's just been a gradual subtle process, and I think everybody is slowly evolving and awakening naturally anyway. I think that's just the that's just the evolutionary process of our divinity. We're going back. I believe we all come here and we're all going back to source. So in order to go back to source, we need to go slowly, just strip away these human layers and get back to our true divine nature. So with us constantly growing and evolving, we understand that our awareness is going to expand as well. So living life after you've had this experience, or you now have a deeper awareness around the world, can be quite painful. It can be very, very hard to navigate life. When you've got this level of awareness, you kind of develop a subtle detachment to this world in general. You can develop a detachment to pretty much everything. Like everything that once pulled you, everything that once excited you, all the goals that you used to want to pursue, all the things that used to interest you, like all this can just gradually, or literally almost instantaneously, fall away. And this can be excruciatingly painful, because everything you identified with, or everything you claim to be, or everything you identified within this world, or that brought you some form of meaning or purpose within this life, no longer has that meaning or purpose anymore. So it leaves you a sense of, you feel a little bit lost, a little bit dissociated, a little bit you feel a bit of unease, and it can be difficult to navigate, because once you're trying to have this conversation and explain the way you feel, you realise that you're just going to sound cuckoo crazy to everyone that you're around. Nobody's going to understand what you're trying to tell them. So it's like, so you're feeling this feeling, you feel unease, you feel lost, everything that used to once excite you, drive you, motivate you is now gone. You feel like you have no meaning or purpose in the world, but at the same time, you feel deeply, deeply conscious, present and aware. And you know that there's been an internal shift. Something is shifted internally, you can feel it, you can't explain quite what, but there's a subtle depth now. It's more so like an emptiness within. But not an emptiness in the sort of, you feel like you're lacking something. More of an emptiness like it's spaciousness, it's vastness. So you feel this feeling, yet if you were trying to explain that feeling or understand it, you wouldn't be able to explain it. Or if you did, people wouldn't be able to understand what you're trying to explain to them anyway. And this is the most difficult part. Feeling like you're having this experience, but having no one to mirror it back to you. Having no one to give you, like, oh yeah, this is what's happened. You have an awakening, you have got a deeper awareness, you are consciously aware, you are evolving spiritually. You've not just lost all drive and motivation and gone psycho and cracked, and you just completely like dead out and out the game. Like, no, this isn't what's happened. You're just more emotionally aware now. You're more in tune, and you are more detached now to this physical world and the games that we play within this physical realm. But that's not to say that you cannot live now without meaning or purpose. I think the vast majority of time spent now being consciously aware is trying to find meaning and purpose within day-to-day duties and tasks. Now, you may be very much alone on this journey. You may not have anyone in your circle who understands you on a deeper level, and this is painful. This is hard to navigate, because what this is going to do is it's going to force you back into old coping mechanisms, force you back into old ways of thinking, old patterns, old behaviours, because you've got no one to relate. The fastest thing you want to do in order to feel that sense of meaning, purpose and belonging again is go back to your old ways, because it's familiar, it's safe, it's what you remember. So if you're feeling lost on ease and no purpose, you go back to what worked previously. But what you'll recognise very, very fast is that when you try and go back to the things that once brought you some form of pleasure, satisfaction, joy, meaning, purpose, these no longer give you that anymore. Now, it might be an old habit that you used to act out all the time. You may all of a sudden do it and this doesn't hit anymore. For me, for caffeine, that was the thing. It literally, I would be super like I was dependent on caffeine. Like I needed my cup of coffee in the morning. I loved it. It was like ritualistic. I'd have a 2 double scoop black coffee, like double scoop strong black coffee in the morning with a little bit of honey, and then I'd have another one, and potentially even I'd end up having 3 cups. Like I couldn't operate without it, but I was always in like hyper glow mode. Like I felt like I was hyper driven. It looked like it on the outside. I was getting a shit ton done, but I was always crashing and burning out, and I was always working myself to the ground because I was hyper stimulated and overworked and under-rested. So when I had this experience, caffeine it just literally fell away. Like I think it's come down because I've started to regulate and get myself out of this survival mode and this stimulated state. I no longer needed caffeine to function anymore, and I realised that I actually feel better without caffeine. So what happened is, it wasn't even like a conscious decision. I didn't say, right, I'm going to quit caffeine today. I just had a cup one day and I was like, nah, I don't like the way this makes me feel. And then I just stopped drinking. I thought, I'm going to have a bit of time. I stopped drinking it. I had no desire to start drinking it again. And then I've tried it a couple of times. I'll have a little cup of coffee. And every time I've drunk it ever since, I've just been like, nah, this isn't for me. I don't like the way it makes me feel. And this is the same applies for so many different habits I've gone back to. They don't give you the same hit anymore. They don't give you the same pleasure. And that can be a bit demotivating and a bit degrading. Like, fuck. This used to give me a buzz, man. Like, this used to give me a high. Why is it not giving me that high anymore? I just feel like no matter what you do, you stay consciously aware. The escape or the coping mechanism that you may have used previously actually give you the escape, and it actually allowed you to become a little bit unconscious for that present moment, or for that moment in time when you're using whatever you're doing, or you're acting out whatever you're acting out. But now you're consciously aware. You can go back to that habit, but you stay consciously aware. This is the painful part. The painful part is now that you realise that no matter how hard you try to go back to what you previously done or previously thought brought you joy, satisfaction or pleasure, it no longer does that anymore. And that's needless to say that you won't keep reverting, because you will. Because it's familiar. And if you haven't yet found some new things that bring you joy, bring you peace, bring you love, bring you pleasure, bring you satisfaction, then you're going to keep reverting until you do. So I think becoming consciously aware, or awakening as we say, a lot of the game is trying to find pleasure and joy within the tasks or the things that you're doing, within the mundane tasks of life. Because people think you're awakened and you just become this enlightened guru and you can just go and sit in the mountains and meditate. No. You've still got to go to work, you've still got to pay your bills, you've still got to pay your taxes, you've still got to do the dirty laundry and dirty dishes, you've still got to take the dog out, you still got to do all these duties, tasks and things that you don't want to do. Life is filled with endless tasks or endless things that you do not want to do. And don't get me wrong, you can get to a place where you can live a life doing solely what you want to do, but there's a road to get there, and that road is going to be filled with a lot of shit that you don't want to do. And unfortunately, that's the reality of life, and it makes it even difficult to do these things now because you haven't got this driving motivator. The ego isn't like got these deeper desires to want to become or want to like be this person, or there isn't this like deep sense of insecurity or lack that needs to be filled anymore, because you now feel whole. You're like, well, these things I know aren't really going to bring me much joy anyway. They're not going to deepen my peace when I achieve financial success. I believe financial stability can. I believe money to a certain degree keeps you out of survival mode, and it's very, very important to pursue some form of financial stability more than success. I think we should even pursue financial success just for gifting and giving. I think that's the main thing. I think when you're awake and you realise that, oh, hold on a minute, all this material stuff, it don't really, none of it really matters. Like, I'm not going to change. If I get £1 million a day, my lifestyle isn't really going to change much, because I'm doing what I like to do and all the things that bring me pleasure and joy. I like training, I like working on my business, I like serving people, I like spending time with the people that I love, I like eating, drinking, going to little coffee shops and cafes, going out for walks in nature, I like reading books, I like writing, I like creating content. Like, all these things I can do for free. I don't need money to do any of these things. So what's actually going to improve when you get all this financial success? And I'm not saying you shouldn't pursue that. I mean, you definitely should. It is a worthy goal to pursue, but understand the deeper meaning and understand that when you do achieve whatever you class as success financially, it's not going to give you this overwhelming sense of joy, peace and love and like alignment, and like you're not going to feel this heightened emotion. You past financial stability, once you've got your survival needs met and you can do the majority of your health's good and you can take care of the people around you, everything after that's just additional income really. You just got to understand that, right? Now it gives me, if you're a good person and you enjoy it and you derive pleasure out of giving, pursue financial success, because what that's gonna ensure is that you make the world a better place, because with more money and resource you can now provide way more. You have way more opportunity to give and gift to people. But it can make it really difficult, because understanding that, having this deeper awareness, but then obviously I think the main thing I'm going to touch on now is actually the relationships, because I think that's the most difficult part, because all your friends don't change. You've still got all the same friendship group, you just don't, it's like you can't relate to them on a deeper level. You have to be willing to compromise and keep 3D relationships just to be a human and navigate this world. You can't just cut all your friends off. I mean, I did that. I awakened and then kind of like detached or just isolated myself and cut myself off from everybody, because I thought, fuck, no one understands me, no one relates, like nobody gets it. Like, and I felt that made me feel even more lonely when I try and communicate these things to people that don't understand. So I just give up trying and I isolated myself as a byproduct, and that wasn't healthy. I understand, right, I can't live like this. Like, I'm still a human being that has human needs, and I still need to be part of society, still need to contribute, still need to be around people, still need to be in this world, whether people have awakened or not. The next level is love and compassion. That's the highest level, because after having this spiritual ego, like I'm better than these people because I am more consciously aware and I am more spiritually attuned. Once you get past that, you realise, well, we're all one anyway. Like, if I evolve, then that means other people are going to evolve too. We're all part of the same thing. We're all part of the same creation. So by your evolution, you're helping other people evolve as well. Everyone's on their own individual journey. Everyone's on their own story, their own timeline. Doesn't matter where people are. You shouldn't cut people off just because you're more consciously aware. If anything, go into that relationship that you feel is a bit more surface level or 3D, and bring that conscious awareness to it and watch and be yourself, be authentically yourself, and give that to people. Allow people to have that full presence that you can provide now with you being consciously aware, and see what that does to your relationships. Even if they are 2D, you may even trigger their awakening in them. You may then begin their journey of self-discovery just by being around you and in your presence. So don't write these people off just because they're not consciously aware, or they're not quite evolved as you are on the spiritual journey, or on the journey of awakening or knowing and understanding. Like, bring this presence to everything you're gonna, and take your ego out the way. Like, nobody's better than anybody. We're all the same. We're all one. There is no I'm better than this person. That's just ego. Once you start to believe that you are better than somebody, or you're higher or more superior, then you're just instantly going into ego, and that's the opposite of love. Competitiveness is ego, and it's not looking through the lens of love and compassion. So don't come with a chat like you're some spiritually evolved master, and then you're putting yourself on a spiritual high horse, claiming yourself to be better than everyone. So you don't surround yourself with people who aren't on your vibration or wavelength. That's nonsense. Anyone who talks like this, tell them to fuck off. They just think they think there's something. It's spiritual ego. Be mindful of that and these people who talk like that. Don't be around low vibrational people. What does that even mean? That's a load of bollocks. Don't listen to that bullshit. But everyone is just on their own level. Like, you just got to take things at surface level as well. Like, look everyone through level compassion. Somebody can only affect your vibration if you let them. What that looks like is you're allowing people to influence you in a negative way. That's all it means. They're affecting your vibration. What does that even mean? Like, a high vibration is just a subcategory for someone who's living in alignment. You're living in alignment with your highest good. You're taking care of your health. You're living in love. You're living in abundance. You know, you're looking after yourself and the people around you. That's all a high vibration is. But that's all to do with the actions and the feelings that you're creating in this world by being consciously aware and staying present. You have to stay present. Stay present with everything you do. Bring your full consciousness and full attention to everything that you do. You're doing the dishes, do the fucking dishes. Don't be thinking about what you're having for tea and the mortgage payments and the tax. No, cut the onion. Do the dishes. Walk the dog. Stay present. Have full faith that it's all working out. Have a plan, set goals, have something to work towards, still have a mission to pursue. Just because you're awake and don't mean you can just write all these things off. Still have goals, still contribute and involve yourself. You might as well, you're here. Play the game. Like, you do what you've got to do. Still pay your bills, still go to work, still get a mortgage, but do it all with that deeper sense of awareness and have love and compassion for everyone that you're around. Because it's easy to get in our egos. Oh, well, I'm more aware of these people. Even if you do look at somebody in the way they're going on, you'll be aware of the behaviour. But it's great. Help them. Correct them. If you can spot somewhere someone's going wrong, how can you guide them? How can you be a mentor for them? How can you correct them? It doesn't mean finger pointing, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you blame. No. Guide them. Be a certain, like, you've got in a position now because you found peace within yourself and you're happy on your own. This now gives you the emotional capacity to be of service to others, to be space for others, to help others, to provide for others. And it doesn't mean financially, just provide for others in giving them your full presence. Turning up with your full presence, with no judgment at all. No judgment. Because as soon as you start placing judgments upon people, then you're living out of alignment. You're not living in love, because you can't have unconditional love with the judgment. And this is what it's all about. You got to refine your center and put your feet firmly on the ground and do what you have to do. If you can still pursue your goals and your mission and create something meaningful in this world, whatever that looks like for you, and still keep that presence and awareness and that subtle detachment to it all, and be able to go back into yourself, then you can live a beautiful, fruitful existence, I can promise you. But detachment isn't the way, and clocking out isn't the way, and isolating yourself isn't the way, and blaming and shaming and pointing your fingers and projecting isn't the way. The way is love and compassion. The way is service. That is the way. Presence. Full presence. Pouring your consciousness into everything that you do. I'm here with you right now on this video. I ain't thinking about anything else. I'm about to go in the gym. I ain't thinking about the sexy ladies in the gym. I'm thinking about this. My full focus and attention is here right now, in this moment. And the more we can practice that, that's the end point. Like, there's nothing more to it. But you go down these spiritual rabbit holes, like trying to find some form of deep philosophical answer. No, the only thing you need to find is presence. And bring that to everything that you do. And have love and compassion with everything that you do. And then that's the end goal. So yeah, if you're struggling with integrating after your awakening, just try doing the dishes with presence. Start with that. Have a practice for presence, meditation, breath work, getting out in nature, doing some writing. Implement these practices into your movement practice, getting in your body. It's the best one for me. Form of martial arts, hitting the bike, doing running, weight training, whatever you want to do. Find some form of practices within your life that you can upkeep, that keeps you centered and keeps you present. And then, yeah, just work on moving your life forward. What's the next viable step that you need to take in order to move your life forward? Ask yourself these questions. Build a plan, an action plan to move your life forward. And just start contributing and start getting involved in the world. Because you've now got a deeper sense of awareness. So everything that you bring that to, you're going to create magic in this world. You become a creator now. Instead of being reactive to your external environment, you're now creating and shaping the world as you see it. So lean into that and utilize your power for good. Right, I'll see you on the other side. Peace, Earth One. And I'm also launching a community for consciously aware creators who are looking for a tribe. You're looking for a group of people that you can get amongst who are on your vibration, on your wavelength, and you understand on a deeper level, and we can contribute, grow, and build together. So they're going to be there's endless bounds. I don't even want to go too much into it, but if you align with my message and you align with me and what I want to say, it's going to feel like the right fit for you. So if it is, brilliant. Waitlist in the bio, fill that in, and you'll be the first to know when the community launches. Alright, peace earth one, see you on the other side.